I know I'm pretty late to the game when it comes to build videos, but it's given me the opportunity to learn a thing or two. It has also given me the opportunity to see what's out there as far as build videos go. These other content creators out there have been showing you the wrong way to make your skill builds. It seems to me people are just slapping builds together for nothing other than views, without putting any thought into the builds that they are showing you. They are showing you 6-tier skill builds with a technician specialization on it. If you are seeing builds like this, don't waste your time. There is no reason you should be running 6 yellows on a build when you are running the technician specialization. You are essentially wasting a main stat, even if you are running a talent that gives you overcharge, which I don't recommend. You could be using this wasted main stat for more armor or more weapon damage. And please, stop running the Harmony. There are far better damage dealing weapons you could be using. This is also a waste of potential damage, if you ask me. You are going to be getting more damage out of a weapon that does more damage with the in-sync talent on it. Today, I'm going to show you the right way to make a skill build. You're going to see how to utilize your playstyle as a skill player to get more power out of your build. Now, I've designed this build around the turret and the drone. I have not tested it with any other skills, but I'm sure most of you know that this is the most effective combination when it comes to running a mission. I also don't recommend running this build solo due to the glass cannon talent. Can you run this build solo? Absolutely. But I don't feel you should run solo with any build that has glass cannon, but that is a personal preference. You can of course do what you like. It's not like you're not going to have enough armor in this build to run solo. With that being said, let's get into the video. So as you can see, I'm running with 4 yellows. This would of course raise some red flags for me, as I'm sure it is doing for you, being that this is a skill build. But I promise you, no one is putting out as much DPS as me with their weapon, while still maintaining more damage with their skills than any other skill build out there, while at the same time having more armor than any other skill build as well. And with these 3 things combined, that makes this the best skill build out there. So let's get into how much damage this build does, so that you don't feel that you're wasting your time with this video. You can see that I'm ripping through elites like they're on normal open world content. My turret is hitting for almost 200,000 at its best. My drone is hitting for a little over 123,000. My weapon damage at its best is hitting for over 850,000. For headshots, I'm hitting for a little over 1 million. And all this with over 900k armor. All the footage in this video is going to be solo footage, so that you can see just how much damage I'm doing without someone else shooting at the NPCs. This can be misleading in a lot of videos, especially when you have those DPS players mowing through NPCs these skill players are shooting at. As a skill player, you are more than likely going to be in the back, undercover, letting your skills do the work. If you are going to be doing this, you should use this as an opportunity to gain more damage by staying in cover with a talent. This is why we're going to be using the Sawyer's knee pads for their Stand Your Ground talent, which increases your weapon damage by 3% for every second you are not moving. It only makes sense for you to be running this talent on your build. It is going to give you a massive damage boost. I had thought about using Composure, but I'm a greedy fuck. And why get 15% weapon damage when you can get 30% weapon damage from the Sawyer's knee pads? Not to mention, I would be losing out on a more powerful talent on my backpack or chest piece in its place. I am of course running the Technician Specialization for its extra skill tier, because I only have 4 pieces of gear with skill tier as the core attribute. So running this will bring my skill tier to skill tier 5. Do you see where I'm going with this build? I am utilizing what I can to replace and maintain what I need to keep the build as strong as a skill build should be, while adding weapon damage and armor to help the build reach heights that it normally couldn't. And don't forget, the specialization comes with 12% damage to drones, skill proxies, and robotics, and it also gives us 10% skill damage. The gear pieces I'm running are based around both skill damage and weapon damage. On them, starting with the mask, I have skill tier for the core attribute, 10% skill damage, and with the combined mod slot and attribute, I have 22.7% crit hit damage. The holster is the second piece of HAHAHA I am running with. It has skill tier for the core attribute, skill damage, and 5% crit hit chance. And for the final piece of HAHAHA, I am running the named backpack called Force Multiplier. The Force Multiplier backpack gives us the perfect combined arms talent. This gives us 30% skill damage for shooting at an enemy. And for the core attribute, I have skill tier along with 9.8% skill damage, 9.4% hazard protection, and 5.6% crit hit chance. Next, I am running one piece of Providence Defense for its perfect glass cannon talent. Providence Defense is going to give me 15% headshot damage. This 15% is not going to go to waste though. It will go hand in hand with the 10% headshot damage on my main weapon. You are eventually going to hit headshots, and I'd rather have the extra damage than not. On the chest piece, I have 10.4% weapon damage for the core attribute, 10% explosive resistance, 10% skill damage, and 11.6% crit hit damage, along with 30% weapon damage for the perfect glass cannon talent. However, with the 30% damage you get from glass cannon, you get a penalty. You are hit with 60% amplified incoming damage. This is also where the Sawyer's knee pads come into play. The Sawyer's knee pads rolls with all defensive slots, which means you gain armor and health to offset the damage you are taking from glass cannon. It doesn't make up for it completely, of course, but it does help. You of course don't have to worry about getting one-shot by a red bar NPC the way you would if you were running a straight 6-tier skill build with glass cannon. On the Sawyer's exotic knee pads, I have maxed armor for the core attribute, 9.3% explosive resistance, and health. For the gloves, I'm wearing a wyvern wear for its 10% skill damage. The gloves have skill tier for the core attribute, 5.8% explosive resistance, and 9.1% skill damage. Now I know what it looks like. I have reds and blues and yellows all over the place, but they are all there for a reason. The explosive resistance is for those endless drones you get in missions and the explosive rushers, and we of course have some hazard protection for everything else. I thought explosive resistance was more important than hazard protection, since you go down more from explosions than anything else. And don't waste your time with skill haste or skill duration, because what is that skill duration going to do for you if your skill is destroyed immediately after you put it out? You're wasting an attribute slot for something you're never going to get any use out of. So if another content creator is telling you to use it, don't waste your time. Now let's get into the weapons. The primary weapon I'm using is the M1A CQB replica. You can craft this weapon at the crafting station if you have the blueprint for it. If not, you can of course use the non-replica if you come across it. It of course comes with rifle damage, and then I have crit hit damage and headshot damage. For the talent, of course I'm running in sync. This talent gives you 15% weapon damage and skill damage, as long as both you and your skill are doing damage to an enemy. I also have this same talent on my pistol in case I run out of bullets, because I will still be able to maintain my skill damage even without my rifle. For my secondary weapon, I'm using the named PP19 called the Cold Relation for its Perfect Strain talent. This talent gives you 10% crit hit damage for every 0.5 seconds you are firing your weapon. This stacks up to 8 times for a total of 80% crit hit damage. This weapon has SMG damage on it, crit hit chance, and health damage. I'm using this weapon for those NPCs that get past my teammates and run up on me. With the crits you are hitting for, you should do enough damage to put down any enemy that comes at you. And that is the build. I hope you have fun putting the build together, and I hope you have even more fun knowing that you can hang with the DPS players on your team. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll leave you with some gameplay to show you exactly what the build can do. And I'll see you in the next video.